A little chillier, but not bad. No rain to worry about. Tonight we'll clear it. 33 areas of frost. Parts of the region do have frost advisories and freeze warnings. We'll go through tonight with that partly cloudy sky by morning and then increasing clouds in the afternoon, 60 degrees. Sunday, clouds, sunshine, highs, low 60s. I'm meteorologist Ray Stidgick from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen.
DQ presents How to Know If Spring Has Sprung. Step 1, order from the new Spring Treat collection. Step 2, grab a fruity blast dip cone, s'more shake, or any of the colorful treats at DQ. Step 3, declare spring is indeed sprung. DQ, happy tastes good.
The True Crime Podcast, What Happened to Sandy Beale, investigates the alarming death of a young woman who dreamed of a career in law enforcement. Journalist Melissa Jeltsin untangles the mystery at the heart of the investigation, revealing a troubling pattern by officials close to the case.
I didn't take any of their crap because I could tell that they were hiding something.
Listen to What Happened to Sandy Beale on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ingles Markets is hiring local drivers for our fleet. As an Ingles driver, you receive paid vacations and holidays, an average salary of $75,000 a year, and you're home every night. Great benefits like medical, dental, vision, and 401k, and no CDL required. Paid training plus a weekly paycheck. Earn while you learn. Just visit ingles-markets.com/careers to apply.
I've got a question for you. Do you have a car, truck, SUV that you want to sell? It could be an old junker. It could be a car you just bought. It could be a car somebody gave you. It doesn't matter. At Paramount Kia in Asheville, we want to buy your car. Give us a call, make an appointment, or simply stop by. It's fast, simple, and easy. And we'll make sure that you leave with the most money possible. Asheville Valley Mall, ParamountKiaAsheville.com.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. Whether you want to learn Spanish for future travel plans, French to connect with extended family, or maybe German to land a new job, Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you'll actually use. All you need is 15 minutes a day, and you'll be on your way to confidently speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel is designed by real language experts using a modern, conversation-based technique that makes learning fun, engaging, and best of all, memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then sentences gradually get more complex. Soon you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. And with 14 languages to choose from and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll be sure to learn what matters most to you. Babbel, language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
The job market is competitive right now, so you need to be competitive to attract top talent. If you're trying to fill open positions at your business, iHeartMedia is here to help. Use radio and digital targeting to find fresh, passive candidates currently in the workforce. These candidates are listening right now, looking for new opportunities. Together, we can let the community know you're hiring. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Professional women's tennis is coming back to Harrah's Cherokee Center, Asheville, April 15th and 16th. Tickets are on sale now at USTA.com/BJKC. Get your tickets and see Team USA women's tennis in this exciting match, April 15th and 16th.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown at the World Cup draw today in Qatar. Team USA goes into Group B with England and Iran. The Americans' first game will be against the last team to join the group from a European playoff, Scotland, Ukraine, or Wales. That first U.S. game will be on November 21st. The Women's Final Four tips off tonight in Minneapolis. Both games on ESPN and the ESPN app. Starting at 7 Eastern with South Carolina playing Louisville, followed by Stanford and UConn. Tomorrow, it's the Men's Final Four in New Orleans. Kansas meets Villanova, then Duke plays North Carolina. Blue Devils coach Mike Krzyzewski in his final season.
I've always thought that shared emotion is the best. And to be able to share that emotion and accomplishment with these guys have been has been really good.
A baseball trade today. The Dodgers get 33-year-old closer Craig Kimbrell in a deal with the White Sox. Chicago gets 34-year-old outfielder A.J. Pollock in that deal.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings.
This is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Huge weekend in college basketball. We've been talking about it all week, and guess what? We're going to talk about it more today, and we are going to get the inside look from every angle of this Final Four, except for the Duke perspective, because we're a Carolina station, and we don't care about the Duke perspective. But we'll give you all the picks for the weekend this week coming up here over the next 2 hours. This first up guest, though, is maybe my all-time favorite that we've had on the program. It is one of the greatest Tar Heels of all time. He is number 00, or was number 00, number one in your hearts. Eric Montross, color commentator for the Tar Heel Radio Network. You hear him right here on ESPN Asheville every game with our good friend Jones Angel. And again, Eric, glad to have you on the program.
Man, it's so good to be with you guys, and what a celebratory time. If you are, it's like everybody who started watching this tournament at the beginning of March with the first round, and you think, man, it was incredible. The first two weekends just kept getting better. You saw all kinds of great storylines. And if you're a Carolina fan, it just continued to get even sweeter with last weekend's victories to propel to the Final Four. And now we've got a chance to compete on the biggest stage, the final stage, here in New Orleans. And the stage is certainly set for a remarkable opportunity for the four teams that are here.
Well, I mean, it's a great opportunity, but, man, over all of the years, I mean, I am a Tar Heel born, a Tar Heel bred, and when I die, I'll be a Tar Heel dead. And I never thought I would see the day when Carolina and Duke met up in the national, on the national stage for a championship or for the Final Four. So many great teams over the years, including all of the teams that you were on back in the early 90s under Coach Smith. It was one of those things, like it was the dream scenario of meeting up, the greatest rivalry in all of sports, in my opinion, for all the beans.
Yeah, it's just been incredible. I mean, I think when you look at this rivalry, it's been such a national story for so long. Even back when I was in school from 90 to 94, it was still a national story. We were still playing on Sunday afternoon on CBS, so we were playing on a Thursday night at 9 o'clock in order to get the West Coast audience. And, you think about that and you think that's pretty exceptional for two teams that are 7 miles apart, and the lineage, the coaching lineage there, the Hall of Fame coaches that have been there, the storylines, the players, the individual accolades, all of those things have built this rivalry into something that's just almost untarnished and maybe unparalleled in sports, and not just in college sports. And so when you think about adding a layer of these two teams playing in the Final Four, you think, at least part of me says, do we really need that? Like, I've already maxed out my emotions when we get done playing Duke over the course of the regular season and ACC tournament, and now we get to, just when your batteries recharge, you think, well, they're getting ready to get emptied again. So yeah, it's a great moment for college sports, for our fans, for both these teams, and certainly when all the marbles are on the table, it's one for the books.
Well, it has been 30 years since the infamous Bloody Montross game back in 1992. One of the great storylines in this rivalry. as a Carolina basketball player, how do you handle not only just a matchup against Duke, because you know it's the great rivalry, but then when you add the pressure of, you know, sending Coach K out on an L for his career, or you know, getting the better of this bitter rival in the NCAA tournament, can you try to wrap your head around what that would feel like?
Well, I think, you know, for Carolina fans, I mean, I think the eternal L, as you say, you know, the eternal L was the one in Durham and Cameron. That's the home base for these guys, and for Carolina to be able to go in and have that win on that night, you know, that it's almost like that was the greatest example of what this rivalry represents, because no one outside of the few core of us that either have played or are playing for the Carolina team this year believed that was possible, and yet that was almost like the rivalry's greatest laugh. And so it was a great moment. This one would certainly add to the storyline, but you know, I think also we also need to recognize that these two teams care vastly more about playing Monday night and winning Monday night's game than they do about each other right now. And it's simply the emotion of it. But it's a national storyline. It's exciting. It's exciting to be a part of.
That's one of the things that I've been trying to, you know, I've heard all of the coach speak all week long of, you know, it's the next one. You worry about winning the game. You try to block out who the opponent is and all of that. But, I mean, is that possible? Was it possible when you were at Carolina playing Duke? Did that not enter your mind during the game?
Well, I think it's possible for Carolina to some extent. I don't think it's possible for Duke to take that attitude going into this game, because they know, and you know, they've lived a year-long farewell tour, and I don't say that in a disparaging way, but you know, they've lived with the hype of Coach K's final season for a year, and so this is, you know, ultimately they have an opportunity to play one and maybe two more games, and so there is pressure on them, and there's no doubt that the pressure on the Blue Devils is being felt. You can hear it talking to their fans. You can see it in listening to the players and how they're kind of trying to bounce around it. And I think that it is absolutely possible that team has just gotten in so deep with this tour over the past year that they will feel that pressure. And, you know, I hope for the players on both teams that they both compete to the very highest level, because if you're, you know, I was fortunate enough in '93 to be on a team that beats the Fab Five for the national championship. Those two teams competed at the highest level, and that's what you want. You want to win when you're playing the best of the best, and they are at their best, and that's what our hopes are, and I think that's what their hopes would be for tomorrow evening.
Well, I mean, it's no doubt that both of these teams are playing their best basketball of the year at the moment. I mean, Duke, I think I read earlier today, is like in offensive efficiency is like the number 2 team in the country right now. Carolina obviously on the run since the Pittsburgh game, only having lost 2 games in that stretch. You know, things really turned around for this team, in my belief, when R.J. Davis started handling the ball more for the Tar Heels, kind of playing that point guard distributor kind of a role. Where do you see the turnaround for this team from, say, that Pittsburgh loss in the Dean Dome to where we're at now, where Tar Heel fans believe we can take Duke in the Final Four, we can take Kansas or Villanova in the national championship, a place we didn't think this team would be midway through the season?
Well, I think, I think that I think it's more of a anytime, and this is not a comment that I've been thinking about just this year, but in general terms, and whether you're talking about ACC teams and or nationally, I think that teams that have talented players or players that are really receptive to the coaching, and when you have excellent coaching staffs, I think when you have motivated players and excellent coaching staffs, you see that it takes a team continues to grow throughout the year. And historically, Carolina has always said, under Coach Smith, under Coach Williams, now under Hubert Davis, that those teams should not be peaking in February. Those teams should be, or January, those teams should be peaking in March for the ACC tournament, the NCAA. And that has historically been where Carolina has gotten its best play. And I think when you think about this particular team, it's interesting. Found a stat the other day. In the last 30 seasons at Carolina, when 3 players have averaged 15 points per game, the results have been in 94-95, it was Stackhouse, Wallace, and Donna Williams. They go to the Final Four. In 1997-98, Carter, Jamison, Williams, they go to the Final Four. In 2008 and 9, Hansbrough, Lawson, Ellington, they win the title. This year, Baycott, Love, and Manick all averaging over 15 points per game, and so far they're in the Final Four. So it's almost one of those things where we should have seen it coming, but that matriculation, that maturing that this team has undergone over the course of the season has taken some time, and it's absorbed some of those games that you talk about, the Wake Forest loss, the Syracuse win, the Pitt loss. There were moments and bumps in the road, and this team has just continued to respond. And I think that ultimately you have to give a ton of credit to Coach Hubert Davis for how he's kind of choreographed this team and how he's worked with them and really put the polish on at the right time.
How is it for you personally to watch your former teammate, Hubert Davis, lead this team to the promised land in his first year?
You know, I'm my kids oftentimes say you're getting old, Dad, and there's no doubt. But I guess this is where I get old and sappy, and I look at it and I say, you know what, this is, to me, and I know this is a very Carolina partisan comment, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's what we do here.
This is what's great about Carolina, and this is what's great about college sports. When you can watch a team build themselves, when you can watch them improve, when you can see individuals become part of a team and get immersed in that culture and believe in it and want to be a part of it and actually crave for that moment to be together, that's exciting. It is something that when I think about watching Hubert Davis, you know, when I came in, he was a junior, so we played 2 years together. He was a terrific teammate. He was committed to team. He was selfless. He was coachable. He had a competitive drive like all of us did to improve, but also to help the team be better at all costs. And so for me to watch him and how he interacts with these players and how he cares about them and how it's not about just getting them to the pros, he wants that for all of them. But along the way, he wants to make sure that these young men are living in this moment, that they're creating lifetime memories, that they're not just focused on the future, that they're focused on the now. And when you can see this team talking about that and feeling that and embracing these moments, I'm exceptionally proud as a friend and as a former teammate and alumni of what Hubert's done. It's just, I think it's been exceptional, and certainly there have been a lot of his staff that are also responsible for that. But when you're the head coach, you get the accolades.
Again, we're joined by Eric Montross, all-time Tar Heel great here in the Sportsocracy, and you will hear him on the call with our good friend Jones Angel coming up this, or I guess tomorrow night, I should say, here on ESPN. Asheville, 7:30 will be the start time. Let's talk about the matchup of these players real quick. What do you see as the key to the game coming up for Carolina to win this?
Well, I think that it's unlikely that there is one key. It's unlikely that there's two keys. It is at this point in the game, when you're down to the Final Four, you really have to play a great game all around But if you dig in and you say, okay, we've got you pinned up against the wall, what are your answers going to be? I think there are a few things. One, this Duke team is shooting, I think, 53.8% in this tournament run. It's the best of any of the Final Four teams. There have been a couple of teams when they played one game in the tournament that shot that percentage or above, but Duke has sustained it for their first 4 games. And so I think the first thing you have to do is defend. You know, they've got 4 guys on the court at any time that are legitimate NBA players and that will be drafted, and those guys can really score. So I think you're going to have to cool the hands of those scorers. I think also Carolina is going to, when you think about not only the defense that will take, you then have to fight fire with fire. So Carolina also has 4 players on the court at any given time, and we've just talked about 3 of them, as we've seen 30-point performances from Manick and from R.J. Davis and from Caleb Love. Those guys certainly have the capacity to turn it on as well, and certainly Baycott does also. So you can fight fire with fire, but then ultimately it comes down to, in these games, the likelihood is that it's going to be a handful of possessions or a couple of possessions differential at the outcome. And so what that means is you want to really take care of the basketball. And I think that's why it's so important for Carolina to not get into a situation where you have empty possessions being possessions where you don't get the shot that you want, or you turn the basketball over. The way that you can combat that is you can pick up your offensive rebounds and create those additional possessions and opportunities against Duke. But this is I think both of these teams are pretty unforgiving, and so when you make a mistake, expect that if you think about it like a ball of yarn, and if that ball of yarn starts rolling and people are pulling on it, it's going faster and faster. You got to get that thing to stop, and you got to be able to tie a knot in it, and you got to be able to turn around and go the other way. And that's what Carolina's got to do to win.
North Carolina Tar Heels, Duke Blue Devils. It doesn't get any bigger than this. The rivalry on the biggest stage in college basketball at the Final Four. You'll hear it right here on ESPN Asheville tomorrow night. Start time for the pregame is at 7:30. Tip set for somewhere around 8:50, I believe. And, of course, you will hear Eric Montross, Jones Angel, and the rest of the crew on the call. Eric, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Good luck to the team, and good luck to you on the broadcast as well.
Great, Tank. Thanks so much for having me, Punch.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. More Duke, Carolina coming up next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
It's the colder side of April. Numbers get down close to freezing tonight. Good 10 degrees colder than average for us. It is not record territory, but we're certainly good 10 degrees cooler than average into Saturday morning. Even some below freezing temps in the higher elevations for tonight. Mostly cloudy Saturday, 60. Partly cloudy Sunday, 61. And 70-degree numbers returning Monday. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Hey folks, DG here. Y'all know I've always loved the slogan, Smiles Change Lives, which I first heard years ago from Dr. Rebecca Merrill of Asheville Smiles. I hope you will live that slogan here in 2022. Whether it's just time for a routine cleaning, you want to learn more about Invisalign, a great alternative to braces, you need a diagnosis and treatment plan, or if you don't have dental insurance, you just want to learn more about her special membership plans. 828-251-2426 or AshevilleSmiles.com.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Ingles Markets is hiring local drivers for our fleet. As an Ingles driver, you receive paid vacations and holidays, an average salary of $75,000 a year, and you're home every night. Great benefits like medical, dental, vision, and 401k. And no CDL required. Paid training plus a weekly paycheck. Earn while you learn. Just visit ingles-markets.com/careers to apply.
Mrs. Fogelman, ready to hustle for that muscle.
Membership numbers at Sly's Gym have been racking up.
22 people have signed up for 6 a.m. buns of steel.
Now he needs more certified trainers to do all the heavy lifting.
I'm going to have to bulk up my staff.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The Atlanta Braves start their voyage to defend their title on Thursday the 7th as 2022 opening day takes over Truist Park against the Cincinnati Reds.
Got him, swinging strike three.
And with Max Fried on the mound, Matt Olson at first, and the rest of your 2022 Atlanta Braves ready for battle, it's going to be an epic 2022 season. Be here for opening day and every pitch of the 2022 season.
Your home for the Braves is ESPN Asheville.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Time to get just a bit outside. We're shifting things around a little bit because coming up in just a minute, we are going to have a live report from, I don't know if he's at the Superdome, but down in New Orleans, Louisiana, the sports director for WLOS News 13, Chris Womack, will be joining us live on scene.
I am very jealous because New Orleans is one of those cities that I will take practically any excuse to wind up in.
Well, this is a work trip, remember?
It's fine.
Nothing untoward happens on work trips, right?
Myrtle Beach Golf. If you know, you know. New Orleans is just one of those places that even if it's a work trip, that's fine.
Yep.
That's just it is a debaucherous, wonderful, happiest place on earth kind of place.
And New Orleans is one of the happiest places on earth for the North Carolina Tar Heels. Why? Because 2 of the 6 national championships in Tar Heel history have been won there at the Superdome. You had the 1993 game, obviously famous for Chris Webber trying to call a timeout at the end of the game, starring our last guest, Eric Montross. We thank him again for joining us in the Sportsocracy today.
I will never understand how that happens. Did you see it happen to Donovan Mitchell the other night?
No.
He did the same thing.
Sometimes
it doesn't happen very often, but, man, when it does, how did you not know that?
And how did you not get told that on that last possession?
Oh, I'm sure you did.
Right. Still tried to call timeout anyway. But anyway, 1993, the Tar Heels won in New Orleans. And 1982, the Tar Heels won the national championship in New Orleans as well. This is a story, though, that I had not heard until today. Asheville native, Roy Williams, former head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels, but he was an assistant for Dean Smith back in the 1982 national championship run. And back in that 1982 season, he had a superstitious
trait.
Yeah, there
as
you
you
go.
do.
I mean,
coming from the guy with 13 tattooed all over his body, I kind of understand that.
Roy Williams has always been thought of as a suspicious a superstitious guy. And back then he was eating Snickers before every game. And he didn't have one in his jacket pocket like he normally does. So he decided, well, I'll just go to the concession stand and guess what? I'll go get me a Snickers bar and everything will be fine. He goes to every concession stand in the Superdome shortly before tip-off of the 1982 National Championship game. No candy in any of them. He was rather ticked off about that. But I got to have my Snickers or we're going to lose, because the one game that year that he did not have his Snickers, they got their tails kicked in the Dean Dome. So, well, I guess it wasn't the Dean Dome back then. But
it was Carmichael.
Right, it was Carmichael. The Dean Dome did not exist back in 1982. But anyway, they got beat at home in the one game that he didn't have a Snickers bar. So he goes and he goes to the the back door, the team only door. He finds the I almost said the bouncer, but that's not right. The guard at the door and says, "Look, I'm Roy Williams, assistant coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. I need to run down to the convenience store. Is it cool?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, I'll be here when you get back." So he goes to the convenience store, gets his Snickers bar, comes back, different guy at the door. And he had to plead and beg to a point where he actually had to tell the guy, if you'll just go get one of the programs, I'm in the program. I am who I say I am. It eventually ended up that just before tip-off, they let him into the door because they had to go get a supervisor to let him in. But as he told this story the other day to Sports Illustrated, somebody at Snickers saw it. And so Snickers responded by sending 400 candy bars to the UNC hotel in New Orleans, hoping that they can have the same kind of luck that they did 40 years ago. This was the note from Snickers. It said, "Congratulations, Tar Heels. Making the Final Four must be pretty satisfying. But we know you have your eyes on a bigger, better, more delicious prize. So why are we sending you a ton of Snickers? Well, you may already know this, but 40 years ago, legendary coach Roy Williams had a Snickers before every game of the 1982 championship season and almost got locked out of the finals by security because he had to run to get a delicious Snickers right before tip-off. We're not trying to take all the credit for that championship, but we hope that we can bring you a little bit of luck for this weekend's historic matchup and beyond." So 400 Snickers candy bars showed up at the UNC team hotel thanks to the folks at Snickers, and this was the longest Snickers commercial ever.
100%, and they pay us $0
if they'd like to, or if they'd like to send us Snickers bars.
Oh, you could need them.
Well, I mean,
we're in the midst of our weight loss goals, that's we would happily give them away to all of the lovely people that visit us here at the studio.
Yeah, we can give them away, or we can just hold on to them. I mean, candy bars don't go bad, do they? I can just hold on to them until next year.
I don't think they're like Twinkies. They don't live
they don't last forever.
But that did raise a question earlier. If somebody handed you a candy bar, just random, "Hey, I have a candy bar. Do you want it?" Is there a candy bar that would make you happier than a Snickers? And I cannot think of one. It's Snickers or Twix.
Yeah, I think the Twix is my answer.
To me, Twix is the perfect combination of it's cookie, it's candy, it's just wonderful.
That also sparked off the conversation of what is the worst candy bar on the market, and I keep coming back to the plain old regular Hershey bar.
I think that is the right answer.
Yeah. Everything else has got stuff in it.
And anything, and I can't emphasize this enough, if it has Reese's peanut butter in it, it could also have gravel in it, and I would still like it. My story, oddly enough, is also about the 1982 National Championship Carolina basketball team. If you have ever questioned the power of generosity and Michael Jordan, this story's for you. This is also proof positive of you miss 100% of the shots that you do not take. Earlier this week, Scott Williams, who played for the Bulls for 4 seasons in the 90s, reached out to Michael Jordan for help locating some killer gear for himself and his supersized friends. Scott Williams is 6'9". That is relevant in just a second. Williams tweeted, "When you text your big brother Michael Jordan your entire crew's sizes, because you need Carolina gear in sizes up to quadruple XLT for the Final Four, and he hits you back with 'I'm on it,' you know you're blessed." Michael Jordan sent his entire crew gear for the Final Four. Now, this story wouldn't be that weird until you realize that Scott Williams played in Carolina too.
Yeah.
You had to reach out to Michael Jordan to get your swag? There was nobody. There wasn't an SID that could have sent you a hoodie?
Right.
Come on, man. You played at Carolina, too. You played in the NBA.
Well, who makes all that stuff? It's Michael Jordan, right?
Well, it doesn't have a picture of Scott Williams' face on it, but I still think Carolina would have sent it to him. But props to Michael Jordan for outfitting them all. And the reason it was so important, because they'll be in New Orleans, much like our next guest.
That's right. Joining us now on the program here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, it is the Sports Director of News 13 WLOS, Chris Womack, who is on assignment down in New Orleans. Chris, welcome in.
Thanks, guys. I was just thinking it'd be so funny if Jeremy was here, because I don't think anybody else in this media room has spoken above a hushed whisper all week, and I'm just cracking up thinking of Jeremy doing the show and screaming in the middle of all of it. It would be awesome.
I'm routinely convinced that's why we're never invited, because I'm like the weird cousin that nobody wants to acknowledge at family reunions.
I would acknowledge you. I acknowledge you at SoCon.
Absolutely. That's one of the things I love about you, is that everybody else ignores me like I'm on fire, but Chris Womack will at least come and have dinner with me. I appreciate that greatly.
All right, Chris.
Anytime.
All right, Chris. So give us the scene setter. We always say this. What's the mood like down there in New Orleans as we get ready to tip off the Final Four coming up tomorrow?
So North Carolina just finished up their open practice about 30 minutes ago here at the Superdome. Duke is about halfway through theirs. And it feels like, from listening to both teams, that they're doing their best to not acknowledge the fact that this is the biggest game in the rivalry's history, at least leading into it. You know, we'll see if it lives up to the hype and if it actually is one of the storied games in the Duke-Carolina rivalry. But both sides, they're saying, "Oh, we're in the Final Four. That's all that matters." It could be anybody on the other side, but it's not anybody on the other side. It's your rival, and none of them are really playing into the media narrative that this is the biggest game in the rivalry's history, because you look at everything that's going into it. Hubert Davis is in his first year as a head coach. Mike Krzyzewski is in his last. And so his last game will either be tomorrow night or Monday night. And that's just a fact. There's no more waiting and wondering when it's going to happen. We've narrowed it down to 2. And after Saturday, it'll be narrowed down to 1.
Right.
And, you know, it is kind of funny, though, listening to Bill Self and Jay Wright from Kansas and Villanova. Like, nobody really cares about that semifinal. It's being called the undercard down here. So, I mean, but that's a great semifinal, too. You look at, Kansas has been dominant all year. Villanova's looking for their 3rd national title since 2016. It's just weird how such a great game can be overshadowed by Duke and North Carolina.
That is actually one of the things that I wanted to ask you. You're actually on site. And the other 2 teams on the other side of this bracket, this is not like it's St. Peter's and VCU. These are also 2 blue bloods. Looking around the scene in New Orleans, what is the breakdown of shades of blue? I feel like it's 90-10 Duke and Carolina to Kansas and Villanova. Am I accurate in that?
You may be a little heavy on the Duke, North Carolina. I'd say it's 70-30. There are a lot of Kansas fans. I've seen a lot of Jayhawks, the mythical bird, on shirts around here, and then every now and then you'll see a Villanova fan pop up. But it's definitely mostly Duke and North Carolina, and quite honestly, there's probably going to be a lot more of them today. At open practice, for example, Villanova had a smattering of fans. Kansas had a smattering. For North Carolina, which I was in there to watch it, it was, it's not like the Superdome was packed. It's a big building. But there were significantly more fans here for North Carolina, and then as they started filing out, you saw all the Duke fans filing in as well. And what's interesting is you see a lot of, people that bought their tickets assuming their team would make it this far. I've seen Michigan State fans walking around at UCLA. But all those fans are also inside for Duke and North Carolina, but they did not bother to show up for Villanova or Kansas' open practices.
Michigan State, really? That's kind of ballsy.
That's a bold strategy.
Yeah.
That is. Yeah. I have extra points on my credit card, and they're going to expire in May.
Right.
Yeah, no, I've kind of wondered why he wasted the money. But, at the end of the day, you're still getting to see a great semifinal. And potentially history being made whenever K's career officially comes to an end. So maybe it's money well spent no matter what if you're a basketball junkie.
Yeah, well, I mean, even without that, it would be history in the making just to be in the building when these two great rivals go up against each other in the Final Four. I've been saying all week, it's something that, we always talked about, like the possibility of these two teams meeting up in the NCAA tournament. But the more and more we get closer to it, the more and more I'm thinking no Tar Heel fan and no Duke fans really wanted to see this other than me, apparently.
I wanted to see it. I mean, and I don't have a dog in the fight, so maybe that's why I wanted to see it. But it is pretty just shocking that throughout the years, it's only happened once before that they were in the Final Four together, and they were on opposite sides of the bracket, obviously. But you would have thought just pure happenstance that they would have been seated in the same region, or that they both would have made it to the Final Four, or heck, even the finals. I mean, these are two programs that sometimes that they are the best team in the country, but they don't win the national title because of one thing or another. But that's what's so cool about this. This will be my first Final Four that I've covered. It's also my first Duke, North Carolina game that I've covered in person. So I'm glad it finally happened. I was talking to C.L. Brown yesterday, a Tar Heel beat writer for the Raleigh News and Observer, and he made the comment, it seemed destined that this was going to happen, and it really did. Especially once Carolina beat Baylor, then I think people started looking ahead 2 or 3 games and saying, well, it could happen. I mean, probably won't, but there's a shot. And thank God it did, because this is what we deserve.
Now, I call this the greatest rivalry in sports. And I know you may be a little biased being an Alabama guy, but when it comes to Alabama and Auburn, do you think it stacks up with Carolina-Duke basketball in a rivalry sense?
I think so. I'll say this. I think the Iron Bowl has more pageantry, and that's because they play once a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with Carolina and Duke, you at least play twice, sometimes thrice, and, it could have been 4 times this year if Carolina had advanced to the ACC championship game. But I will say this. I think there's more hatred and vitriol with North Carolina-Duke than there is with Alabama-Auburn. For whatever reason, Bama and Auburn fans generally get along most of the year. But with Carolina and Duke, it really seems like y'all hate each other.
We do.
It's really remarkable how little respect you give one another. I think, Coach K, his last time at the Dean Dome and what they chanted there, was it lowbrow? Okay, whatever. But it's a rivalry. I mean, what were you expecting? A standing ovation? That's
right.
I have no problem with it.
Yeah, I have had many relationships in my life, friendships and, actual relationships start and stop because of Duke fandom. I just can't do it. As a Tar Heel guy, you are a Duke fan? Oh, we have nothing left to talk about then.
That's how Tennessee is for me. Tennessee fans.
I think we all have it. I think we all have one of those. Aside from Harvey Updike, I think the Alabama-Auburn rivalry just doesn't come up to that level.
Allegedly, and I wasn't alive when Bear Bryant died, but allegedly the Auburn fans rolled Toomer's Corner the day that Bear Bryant died. Now, again,
I've heard that, yeah.
There's no picture evidence, and I got to think that the Opelika News and Reporter, or whatever their newspaper's called down there, would have run out and take a picture of it,
Oh, no doubt.
I really have a hard time believing they actually did that. But that's the only example, besides Updike, as you mentioned,
right?
That where I think it would have climbed to Duke UNC level.
Mm-hmm. I am very envious that you are there. You are going to be able to enjoy this historic moment in college basketball's history. I mean, it's a great story either way. Even though my heart wants more than anything to give Coach K the L in the Final Four and go on to win the national championship. As in your job, you've got to love the possibilities of the stories that you can turn out of this.
Oh, absolutely. At 5 o'clock, actually, I spoke to C.L. Brown, as I mentioned, and then you may remember David Thompson, who used to work for the Asheville Citizen-Times. Well, he's on the Duke beat now for the USA Today network.
Right.
And so I talked to them, and my main question was, how the heck do you cover this? Where do you start? Because, as you know, in journalism, you're supposed to pick a focal point and kind of build out from there. Well, where do you go? I mean, do you go with the fact that it is the first time these two teams have met in the NCAA tournament and it's the Final Four? Is it Coach K's impending retirement? Is it Hubert Davis taking a team that looked like it was dead to rights in the middle of the season and resurrecting them and leading them to the precipice of a national title? I love the fact that you can't go wrong. I mean, you just blindly throw a ball and you're going to hit a great story around here. So, yeah, I can't believe I'm here. It took when I actually sent my pitch to come down here at halftime of the North Carolina St. Peter's game because it seemed clear that it was going to happen at that point. And when they fired back and said, yeah, let's do it, I was, what? Okay, yeah, well, I'll put in the credential request. Here we go. And it took like 3 days for it to sink in that I would actually get to watch this play out in the Superdome. This is a dream come true. I've covered national championship football games, and that always felt like work. But this feels like something that, yeah, I'm working, yeah, I'm doing a lot of stuff, but I also feel like as a sports fan, this is where you want to be. I don't care what else is going on Saturday night or Monday night. This is where you want to be, and I'm here.
Right. And, again, I am extremely, extremely jealous.
Yeah, we need to get you to teach us how to file those pitches. 'Cause we're not as efficient at that apparently as you are.
Well, part of the deal is I'm actually doing the coverage for every Sinclair station in the country.
Yes.
So I have to do stories on Villanova and stories on Kansas, and then all the stations in the Carolinas are picking my stuff up as well from, obviously what I'm doing for WLOS. So it's a lot of work. I feel like I haven't really soaked in the moment yet because my head's been buried in a laptop trying to edit and write and everything. But this is really the first break I've taken today. So thank you guys for asking me to do this.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely welcome, and we appreciate you coming on with us. Keep your head on a swivel, though, because tomorrow is going to be star-studded red carpet event. I mean, if Coach K's last game in Cameron Indoor was as star-studded as it was, you can imagine the faces that you're going to see tomorrow, not only on the Duke side, but on the Carolina side as well. I mean, you will have every great in the building for this one.
Well, we already know Eric Church is going to be here because he canceled a concert that he had for Saturday night.
Which is the biggest boss superfan move ever.
Yeah, I mean, golly, I guess I would do it too if Alabama was playing in the national title against Auburn. But man, that's gutsy. That is a boss move. That's cutthroat, is what that is.
Oh, he will go down in Carolina lore forever as you are top 5 fan. Period. You gave up $1.5 million in cash that not only did you already have, but that you turned around and had to refund because you didn't even reschedule the date.
Yeah, that man, I look forward to the day when $1.5 million is something that I can just turn my nose up at.
Don't we all?
I'm convinced that there is no God that will allow me to have that kind of money. I'm this egotistical without that. What do you think I would be with that?
Oh, Vegas would love it if you had that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
they would all have. Yeah. They already have gold fixtures. They would have gold bidets that they would name after me.
Oh, that's a hashtag goal right there, having a bidet named after you.
All right, we're joined again by Sports Director from News 13 WLOS, Chris Womack, who's down live on the scene at the Superdome in New Orleans. I want you to take off the reporter hat for us, put the prognosticator hat on now, and tell us how you think these games tomorrow are going to wind up.
I think the Kansas-Villanova game is pretty easy. I think Kansas walks in that one because Villanova already has a short bench. They don't play a whole lot of players. And then Justin Moore goes out in the Elite Eight. So now you're down from basically 6 that you were playing down to 5. So that's going to be a tough hurdle to overcome. And Kansas is just too deep and talented. And Bill Self has been here. I mean, he's one of the legends. He's not I don't think he's on Kay or Roy's level personally, but he's up there. And now the Carolina Duke one. I've got to be really careful with this, right? So I think that Sorry, Tank. I think Duke's going to do it.
You're dead to me. You're dead to me.
No, hey, I didn't say I want Duke to do it. I just said I think they will.
Okay, you've recovered. All right.
Now, I do believe that had Duke beaten North Carolina in the regular season finale, then I probably would take them going into this. But I think that the fact that K lost his last home game to North Carolina in such embarrassing fashion has probably sat with the Blue Devils for a long time. You think to what Mark Williams said at the ACC tournament, where he said whenever they were down and just a little bit in the quarterfinal, he thought about Coach K and not wanting to, send him out that way. And then that's what he thought about the rest of the game. And when he first said that, I thought that was a problem. Like, hey, his legacy is secure whether you guys win a national title or an ACC title or not. I mean, are we going to think of Krzyzewski different if he's a 6-time national champion as opposed to a 5? Like, no. Yeah. So I think that they have gotten over that. And the Michigan State game was a real turning point for them. I mean, that's when they really grew up from a young Blue Devil squad into what they are now. And so I think it'll be a good game. I don't think it'll be, one or 2 points. I think Duke will hit free throws down the stretch and stretch it out to 6 or 7. But that's my call on that. And then in the national title game, heck, why not Duke?
That is the correct answer. If you're going to say Duke is going to win this game,
then there is no shot they're losing Monday night.
Exactly.
Well, they've just got to emotionally recover because there's going to be a lot that goes into Saturday night for them. I mean, both teams are going to empty the tank, and you've got to rebound and regroup to face a Kansas team that, like I said, I think they're going to have a pretty easy time of it in the other semifinal. And so they're not going to have that emotional drain that whoever the winner of the late game is going to have. So that's going to be really critical in this. But, hey, if there's anybody that knows how to do that, then it's Mike Krzyzewski. He's done it 5 times before. And should North Carolina win, then I think Kansas-North Carolina would be a really good game too. But, Hubert, I think it's really funny. I mean, Hubert keeps saying, like, guys, I've played in the Final Four. I played 12 years in the NBA. Like, this is just another game. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Like, this is your first time as a head coach. Like, you're calling the shots. Like, you're the one that is going to either make these kids' dream come true or dash them all to pieces.
Yeah, I don't buy into any of the coach speak. You can continue to say it over and over again that this is just another game, but we all know it's not just another game. I don't think that regular Duke Carolina games are just regular games. Once you hit that floor and once the ball is getting ready to tip and you look across the way and you see either North Carolina or Duke on those jerseys, it clicks in your head and goes, there's something different about this game. It's going to be extremely physical. It's going to be high flying, fireworks, all of the cliches that we can use. It's going to be great. And again, Chris Womack, Sports Director, News 13. Thank you for joining us, and go Tar Heels.
All right. Well, no comment on that. I'll give you a roll tide, though. How's about that?
All right, we'll take a roll tide.
Be sure you hit Charlie's Steakhouse while you're down there. It's in the weirdest section of New Orleans. It's right on the water, and it looks like it could be somebody's house, and they will give you the best steak you have ever eaten in your life.
I'll tell you, I went to Nola Po' Boys last night. It's down on Bourbon, at the very end of Bourbon, away from all the bars and everything.
I know exactly where it is.
Holy mackerel. I have never had something that just fulfilling. Like good Lord. Oh, man, I had a po' boy that was fried shrimp, and then they covered it in gumbo.
Oh, no.
It's fantastic. God. I'll give you another piece of advice, because I've been in New Orleans more than once. If somebody says this is really hot, you should listen to them. I literally almost had my face melted off down there by a bowl of ramen noodles, and I've never forgotten it.
Yeah, no, they had a little sign that said, all of our fried food is spicy, and you can take the Yankee method is what they had. And it's a little less spicy. And I said, yeah, give me the Yankee.
Yeah, the Yankee method.
Yep.
Yeah, I chose to say I like it really spicy. They take that as a challenge, and you will lose it.
Oh, yeah, no, not me.
All right, Chris, we appreciate the time. We got to take a break here, but enjoy your weekend in New Orleans. Enjoy the basketball, and we heard all the sirens behind you. Don't get arrested, okay? We don't need that in the news.
Yeah, they can't catch me, so I'm good.
Okay, good. Again, News 13 Sports Director Chris Womack joining us here in the Sportsocracy. We got more Duke Carolina coverage coming up in the next hour of the program. Immediately after the break, though, Jeremy going to give you his picks of the night. Greene on Greene is coming up next.
The underdog. The long shot. The nobody from nowhere, never gonna happen, 100 to 1 shot. We know something about that. We're with you every step of the way.
This week at Ingles, select 6 to 12 count Laurel and Cuddly soft bath tissue, $3.98 each. Select sizes and varieties Kellogg's Frosted Flakes or Fruit Loop cereal, 2 for $4. And select sizes and varieties Tide laundry detergent, $12.98 each. Ingles, low prices, love this savings.
Hey guys, I'm Ziggy, your local Philly girl, owner of Ziggy's Bakery and Deli. I've created a traditional northern deli with only the most authentic cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia, served with provolone, white American, or Cheese Whiz. Our other classic deli sandwiches are made with the best quality meats and cheeses, available sliced by the pound. Join us for breakfast for house-made bagels with our custom cream cheeses. Or for something heartier, try a pork roll, egg, and cheese or house-cured lox. Ziggy's Bakery and Deli, in the corner of Asheville Commons, 1550 Hendersonville Road, open 8 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday.
As the country bounces back from COVID and mask mandates are lifted, your business needs a lift too. Promote your company right here, right now. Radio ads connect with 93% of Americans every week. That's more than Google, more than Facebook, more than TV. In fact, radio reaches 20% more millennials than TV. Want more of the people you want to talk to all in one place? Visit iHeartAdvertising.com and get AM and FM working for you. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
There's nothing like hearing the songs you love on local radio with no subscriptions and no monthly fees. But there's a new bill in Congress that could stop the music. If passed, this bill would tax your local radio station simply to play the music you love. Text LOCAL to 52886 and ask Congress to support local radio stations. Help us keep you connected to the music, local news, weather, and traffic that you need each day. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Welcome back to the quickest podcast ever, brought to you by Kohl's.
Today's topic, Easter savings.
I can't wait to celebrate with all my peeps.
Speaking of, I just got 50% off festive decor, a Ninja blender for just $99.99, and saved on some arts and crafts the kids are gonna love.
Okay, those are some excellent deals.
Right? On top of that, I got an extra 20% off Kohl's Cash and free store pickup.
Excuse me while I hop onto Kohls.com.
Select styles, 20% offer ends April 3rd. Toys, coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Calling all jokesters, April Fools, and all-around punny people. This week on the free iHeartRadio app, the joke's on you. No, literally, we're handing you the mic to tell us your favorite joke. Just open the free iHeart app and tap 24/7 Comedy Radio. When you're ready for the spotlight, tap the mic, record your joke, and send it. Then listen to Hear Yourself on 24/7 Comedy Radio all day today. Plus, we've got thousands of Laugh Out Loud comedy podcasts for you to binge anytime, anywhere. Stop laughing. That was serious.
iHeartRadio. You're always up for some fun with the family, so you order the essentials, a new board game, some baking supplies, and even a new projector for outdoor movie night. And with the Bank of America customized Cash Rewards credit card, you can choose to earn 3% cash back on online shopping, which could increase to up to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member. Rewards which you can put toward an extra treat that everyone will enjoy, like an old-fashioned popcorn machine. Visit bankofamerica.com/more rewarding and apply now. Copyright 2021 Bank of America Corporation.
DQ presents. Picture this. You stand before the awe-inspiring new signature stack burger menu at DQ and your mouth wonders, where have you been all my life? That's 5 taste bud-tempting cheeseburgers with 100% real seasoned beef. You peek at the loaded A1 stack burger with 2 premium sauces. Then the flamethrower stack burger with tongue-tingling jalapeno bacon. Then you realize moments like these are exactly why we have the DQ signature stack burger menu. DQ. Happy tastes good. Get it delivered at DQ.com.
Coffee's for closers only. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the
Finally, a winning night in the NBA. It had been the entire week since I had one of those, and I kind of had started to forget what it felt like. Tonight, we try to continue the winning ways. I got 4 picks for you in one of the worst slates I have ever seen in the NBA. First, the Los Angeles Lakers are a 2-point dog tonight against the New Orleans Pelicans. Despite what LeBron James said on Twitter, he is not done for the year, and he will be back tonight along with Anthony Davis. Vegas is not recognizing that. LeBron is not going to let this team miss the play-in game. I don't think they can do anything when they get there, but New Orleans is hot to Vegas, and the Lakers are cold, so this number is off. Give me the Lakers +2. I'll take them in the money line to win outright. Next, the Memphis Grizzlies are a 7-point dog tonight at home against the Phoenix Suns. It's a bit of an overreaction. I think the Suns are going to win this game. You got to take in the grindhouse. I know there's no Ja Morant, but this team plays just as well without him as they do with him. Give me the Grizzlies +7. Finally, my 2022 NBA champion Denver Nuggets are at home tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Unfortunately, this is not a matchup that plays well for them. Minnesota's a 2.5-point dog, and they shouldn't be. They should be a 2.5-point favorite. They've already beaten Denver twice. Karl-Anthony Towns is a nightmare for Jokic. This is the worst matchup humanly possible. Give me the Wolves +2.5 under the 240.
Go and do likewise, gents. The money's out there. You pick it up, it's yours. You don't, I got no sympathy for you.
And you can take those wagers over to betus.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy. Get a 125% deposit bonus on whatever you put in, up to $2,500. Again, just for using our promo code Sportsocracy at betus.com.
And if you like gambling things, we got to do this one time before we put it in mothballs. This is college-centric. If you watch our college football coverage, you know what I'm talking about. The last segment of this show, Final Four, I lose my mind.
Yeah.
All the money you could possibly want to win.
Yeah, the 5 on it coming up in the next hour. And, all this rivalry talk so far this week, the greatest rivalry in my life, personally, has been with my weight. I have battled weight problems since birth. I cannot remember a time where I was quote-unquote healthy. And the folks at PhD Weight Loss are helping me win that battle. My health coaches, Lori, and the rest of the gang, they are giving me the confidence to go up against the greatest opponent of my life and win. In 4 months, I have lost 53 pounds thanks to PhD.
That rivalry for me has been me and the ability to sleep, which I've never had because I've always been overweight. Thanks to PhD and the weight I've shredded, I've never slept better, which for me is still not saying much, but it is still a vast improvement, and that's all thanks to the healthy, nutritious food and program at PhD Weight Loss.
PhD gives you 80% of the food that you need to have success on this program. All you got to do is add one square meal a day and a couple of salads. That's it. Go to myphdweightloss.com. It's myphdweightloss.com. Final Four previews coming up next after SportsCenter.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
It's the colder side of April. Numbers get down close to freezing tonight. Good 10 degrees colder than average for us. It is not record territory, but we're certainly good 10 degrees cooler than average into Saturday morning. Even some below freezing temps in the higher elevations for tonight. Mostly cloudy Saturday, 60. Partly cloudy Sunday, 61. And 70-degree numbers returning Monday. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by InvisibleFence.com. Whether you want your pet to have the independence to run and play outside, or you need to correct some mischievous behaviors like digging in the trash, the hands-on trainers from Invisible Fence brand train your pets for you. Visit InvisibleFence.com to learn more. Invisible Fence brand. Surround your pets with care.
Professional women's tennis is coming back to Harrah's Cherokee Center, Asheville, April 15th and 16th. Tickets are on sale now at USTA.com/BJKC. Get your tickets and see Team USA Women's Tennis in this exciting match, April 15th and 16th.
I'm John Gonzalez, the host of SI's new podcast, Sports Illustrated Weekly. Sports Illustrated has delivered some of the best storytelling in sports for 70 years. And now that continues on our show. Each week, we'll dive deep into the best stories from around the sports world. We'll ask the questions that we're all wondering and push for the answers we all want. Sports Illustrated Weekly is available every Wednesday on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe now.
Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
I'm Doug Brown. When the World Cup kicks off in November, the U.S. will play in Group B with England, Iran, and the winner of a European playoff between Scotland, Ukraine, and Wales. That last team will be decided in June. The women's Final Four doubleheader is tonight in Minneapolis on ESPN starting at 7 Eastern with South Carolina against Louisville, followed by Stanford and UConn. Tomorrow night in New Orleans, the men's Final Four tips off with Kansas against Villanova. Jayhawks coach Bill Self.
They're unbelievably sound. They're fundamental. They don't turn it over. You have to beat them. They don't beat themselves. And in our sport, there's probably more games lost than there are games actually won.
The nightcap tomorrow is Duke and North Carolina. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports the Lakers may have LeBron James back on the floor tonight against the Pelicans. He's missed the last 2 games with a sprained left ankle. Anthony Davis may be a game-time decision for the Lakers tonight. He's been out with a sprained right foot.
The new Venture X card from Capital One. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel, plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, coming to you live from the Ingles Studio. We're always sponsored by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene, and we are heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can get all of our individual team content in the NFL Draftmas season, as all of our 7-round post-free agency mock drafts have already gone out.
Yes. Well, except Seattle.
Oh, except Seattle, because I'm an idiot and I scheduled it to go out today rather than yesterday.
Calendars are fun.
Yeah. That's one of the things I don't like about YouTube is it pops up for the next day every time you're trying to do that. But anyway, it's one of them things. So everybody but Seattle is out. Seattle will be coming out this evening, and we will have free agency grades coming for each and every team over the weekend. So while you're enjoying all of the festivities with the Final Four down in New Orleans, you can soak in some free agency grades for your favorite NFL team. We cover all of them, so no matter who your team is, they will be covered. Again, hit that subscribe button so you get the alert every time we post a new video. Tyler Cunningham said something that I thought was, very astute of him in the comments of Tank wasn't even this excited when it came to the Super Bowl.
No,
and I told you that on Monday. Monday we came in here and I said, I have had 2 Super Bowl trips for my NFL team, who has been dog water every other year they've been in existence since 1976. And no, I've never been excited for a game as much as I am excited for tomorrow night's showdown in the Final Four with Duke and Carolina. You get a rivalry like that on this kind of stage. I mean, that's Auburn, Alabama meeting for the national title. And we saw Alabama meet LSU for a national title, so we know it's possible. We saw them just this year, Georgia and Alabama meet. Maybe one day we'll be treated to an Auburn-Alabama national championship, but until that day comes, this is the greatest college sporting event in the history of time.
Well, I mean, you add it's the first time they meet in the tournament. It's the Final Four, which is the expectation. We're not just seen in Asheville and just in North Carolina.
Right.
Outside of this state, you really do not understand how important this is in this state.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would be remiss if I didn't point this out because I was listening to you and Chris Womack talk about rivalries and dating. I mean, I've never actually met a Miami fan, and I don't wear jorts, so I couldn't date a Florida Gator fan. But that would be a bone of contention for me as well.
Right. Now, I've done that at least 2 times.
Although
shown up on a date, things are going well, and then sports comes up because that's what I eat, sleep, and breathe, and find out they're a Duke fan and go, this ain't going to work.
Although now that I have a mullet, I do get hit on by Florida Gator fans more often.
Right. Yeah.
I could say a lot worse, but since we're on terrestrial radio, I probably shouldn't.
I was expecting something a little more hard-hitting from you on that one. But
I had many of them, but
Sure.
This is kind of that thing of, I've only been in radio for a certain period of time. I don't know what I'm allowed to say.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, I can't say bad words. It's just, is this too mean?
I do have to give props, though, to Jason Trump in the comments. This is a comment of the day. USA versus England. Anything like Duke versus UNC. And then Patrick Holt, you get points. Yep, that's been a rivalry since 1776.
Yes, there has been a lot of talk in our chat about the World Cup draw.
Yeah.
I would happily give you some commentary on that if I knew anything to say.
No. Christian Pulisic. That's all I got. That's a soccer player who plays for America. That's all I know.
I'll beat you on that. Here's what I know. I'll bet you they're going to play on grass.
But I will get excited for World Cup soccer. I did the last time we were in the World Cup. That's the thing. Soccer.
Oh, I'll get into the World Cup.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I won't understand even the vaguest amount of what I'm watching.
Nope.
But I'll get excited about it.
Oh, yeah. And we'll do a live watch party or something somewhere. Everybody can wear their USA regalia. We will not allow those others in. If you're wearing England stuff, you can't come to our party.
Stephen Tao said the USA is in Group B. I actually did know that. They drew with it's Wales and Ukraine. The winner of Wales and Ukraine.
It was England, Iran, and then there's the winner of Scotland, Ukraine, and
Wales.
And Wales. Yeah, the winner of that playoff in June will end up being the fourth team in the Group B. So maybe we can make it through the group stage, and get to the next part, whatever that is.
I feel like we should want to play Wales because they can't be very mobile.
Oh, see, this is why we don't talk soccer.
Yeah, because that's my analysis. Whale.
But the rivalry, yes, with Duke and Carolina, it takes center stage tomorrow night. You will hear it right here on ESPN Asheville. Pre-game starts at 7:30, and then you'll have Jones Angel, Eric Montross on the call starting at 8:49.
And thank Eric Montross for joining us. Tank has been like a kid on Christmas all day. This was like his childhood dream come true. Now, what's funny is you've actually met the man more than once.
I have. I've met him twice before. The first time I've ever actually spoken to him any longer than just, hey, I'm a huge fan. It's a pleasure to meet you, all of that. This is the first time ever getting to do an interview with him and spend some extended time. But I did. My dad thought it was really cool that I had a missed call on my cell phone from Eric Montross yesterday. And now, that's what every kid dreams of, right? Make their dad proud. Now I'm cool in my dad's eyes. After 20 years in radio, the Eric Montross interview was the one that got him to go, yeah, you're cool now. I'm just kidding. That makes my dad sound horrible, and he's the greatest dad on the planet. Anyway, it doesn't get any bigger than this.
The thing that I can't get away from, and I'm going to level with you, Vegas can't either, is how just absolutely irrelevant the national media is treating Kansas Villanova.
And I feel like they kind of have to, because we all feel like that game is a foregone conclusion without Justin Moore.
And I'm telling you right now, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not. And the more I listen to people talk, the more I'm thinking, I might be doing this wrong.
Okay. I think Villanova will give them a heck of a game. Villanova plays its game.
Here's what you need to know. What did that game start at? Where did the line start for Villanova, Kansas?
I'd say at 2.
It was 5.5.
5.5, okay.
Where is it now?
10.
4.
Oh,
it went down 1.5 points.
Interesting.
What does that tell you?
Uh-huh.
Now, I have a dedicated side, and you'll have to wait until the end of the show for me to lose my mind, possibly my voice, and I'm going to yell. I'm going to yell a bunch of times because this is the mothball trip. It's done till September after this.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to yell about baseball.
USFL football.
Not happening. I'll yell about the draft.
Right.
By the way, just throwing this out there as a total aside because we're talking about betting things.
Mm-hmm.
If you listened to me on Trayvon Walker, you're now sitting on a ticket that they will pay you to give back. Armchair Commentary put $10 on my Trayvon Walker to go number one.
At plus 2,200.
At plus 2,250.
Oh, 2,250.
They gave him $40 to just sell it. Like, here, we'll give you 4x your money to just not have this outstanding anymore.
Really?
That's when you know you're on to something, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, because now the odds have dropped to plus 300, correct?
He's
on,
two.
On Trayvon Walker to be the number one pick in the NFL draft. Aiden Hutchinson's still the overall favorite.
And this is going to sound a little smug, but it's just the way it is. You could call me a moron on practically everything. If I say something that dogmatically on the draft, you should probably listen to it because I didn't pull it out of my head. Somebody said it to me that knows infinitely more than I do.
Yeah. We have a collection in this Final Four of, I would say, 4 of the top 15 to 20 coaches of all time in college basketball. Maybe I'm being too generous on that.
I don't think you're being generous enough.
Okay, all right.
I would say Jay Wright, Bill Self, and Mike Krzyzewski are in the top 10.
In the top 10? Okay, all right. I like I said, all of these coaches know what they're doing. They've all been to this stage. They've all won national championships, and they know what it takes to make it on the big stage. You got Kansas and Villanova first, and Villanova is going to try to make Kansas play their game. That slow, plodding, methodical game. Yeah, they can. You cannot match up with Kansas running and gunning.
Not when you have 5 players.
Exactly.
I mean, they're going to pull a 6th, but if they get in foul trouble, this could get sideways.
You've got the senior leadership with Colin Gillespie, who feels like he's in his 18th year.
I think
Villanova.
He started at Villanova about the time I learned to talk.
He's at least got 3 doctorates by now in his time at Villanova. But, Jalen Samuels is still there from the national championship team as well. They are a great basketball team, and Jay Wright knows what he's doing.
By the way, Jay Wright doesn't age.
No, he doesn't.
Jay Wright somehow, Patrick Holt once said he looked younger than me. And if we keep going on this trajectory, you're going to be right.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's aged in the 20 years he's been at Villanova, and I'm aging like cheese.
I just don't think that they have the firepower to hang with Kansas. I mean, they'll hang, but in the end, I think Kansas' talent is going to trump them.
Well, I mean, Abaji is just such an unbelievable player. And the story on him is insane. They did a piece on that on CBS before the games this past weekend. And there's guys like that all the time. Kansas just has more players. But you always have to take into account the Bill Self factor. Because what is it that Bill Self does? Let you down in situations that you think he won't. And this is, I'm telling you, the closer we get to me having to put out a pick, the more, the less and less I feel good about it.
You got Remy Martin, who has not had a great tournament run. He's kind of lost his shot a little bit.
Well, just in the last 2 games, he was very good in the first 2.
Right, but what I'm saying is he's not on a hot streak right now. He would say he might be in the middle of a slump or at the start of a slump. Hopefully, if he finds his shot in this one, I mean, the Remy Martin story has just been a complete roller coaster. From highly touted recruit going to Arizona State, and then the transfer to Kansas, and he kind of faded from everybody's memory, and then here he is with Kansas, now being a driving force for this team in the Final Four, on the cusp of an appearance in the national championship game. And I love Christian Braun. That kid's versatility is incredible. I mean, he reminds me of a Tyler Hansbrough who can hit 3-pointers.
I just look at this matchup and go, it has been totally glossed over. And I heard Womack say this a couple times, of we all feel like we know how this is going to go. And I would agree with that. On paper, you definitely do feel like there's a lean here. But the good thing is that games aren't played on paper. They're played in television sets. And I'm just, the closer we get to this, the more I'm going, this doesn't make any sense. Why is Vegas taking this number the opposite direction? I feel like they are begging me to do this.
They are.
I might do it. They might get me. Vegas is truth serum. And that is the beauty of wagering and things like that, is Vegas is truth serum. It is staggering how often they get these numbers right.
The question is, how much does experience play into it? How much?
It always plays into it.
I know. But
and the thing about this Kansas team is that they have been, for large periods of this year, they've been very disjointed. Nobody's ever doubted the talent. There have just been times, and it's not exclusively, but a lot, it's been against vet-laden teams that could just outwork them. And that's exactly what Villanova is. This is an experienced bunch that's played together for a long time. And yeah, they're thin, but they're also super talented. And you were talking about Jay Wright. I would argue that's the most undervalued coach in any sport in my lifetime.
I mean, it's hard to be undervalued when you've won 2 national championships in the last 5 years.
It's funny. A vast majority of people would take Bill Self over Jay Wright, and that makes me literally laugh.
I would not.
But you're smarter than some people.
I got a compliment from Jeremy. It's
Friday.
A banner day.
It's Friday. I'm in a good mood.
Earlier today, I had to say, I just come in here for the uplifting.
Yeah, the ego boost.
Yeah, the ego boost that is working with Jeremy Greene.
You could assume. It's
yes,
got to have thick skin to be around me for any extended period of time.
And yes, he was talking about my hair. Because he always makes fun of my hair.
Here's the thing. You come at the king, you best not miss. You make a joke about my man bun, I will talk about your faux skillet.
My faux skillet. Okay. Yes, there is another game in the Final Four. But let's be honest. Especially in the borders of the great state of North Carolina, no one cares.
I would wager the rating on Villanova, Kansas is going to be disgustingly low. Because that's the time you're making the deal with your spouse. Okay, we'll go to the steakhouse, we'll have the dinner, we'll get the bottle of wine. But when this game tips off, I'm going to be in my chair.
Yes. You have to be, fans put so much into the game. And that's why it matters. A regular Duke-Carolina game, it's got to be that way. You're on the edge of your seat from the tip until the final buzzer. Because you never know. Even though somebody may have, I don't know, an 8-point lead with 17 seconds left, you don't know how that game's going to end up. It's the one thing Carolina fans always go back to. One of the greatest victories in this rivalry was trailing by 8 points with 17 seconds to go, and somehow they came out the winner. Carolina came out on top. You've had double buzzer beater games, I think 3 times in this rivalry. You had one in 2020.
I remember the one with Capel.
The one with Capel.
That's still the greatest game I've ever seen.
And I think there was one before that went, buzzer beater in regulation and a buzzer beater at overtime to win the game. And the way that we've been seeing these college basketball just think about all the buzzer beaters that you have seen in this tournament. And you don't think that's how this is going to end up? I think that's exactly how this is going to end up. It's going to be a one-possession game with 10 seconds to go, and everybody is going to age 15 years like you were president of the United States in that 15 seconds.
It's going to be a sight to behold. I just hope everyone can stay awake because this game will probably end around midnight.
So who does?
And frankly, I'm hoping I remember it.
Yep.
So because Saturday night for me, there's no fear of me falling asleep. There might be I wake up and go, wait, what happened? I think I remember, but I know, but I want to see if you know. You tell me what happened, and we'll talk about it.
Who does have the edge in this game? We will talk about that coming up next, and more importantly, who is going to be the next most hated person for either Duke or North Carolina when this game is said and done. Stick with us here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
It's the colder side of April. Numbers get down close to freezing tonight. Good 10 degrees colder than average for us. It is not record territory, but we're certainly good 10 degrees cooler than average into Saturday morning. Even some below freezing temps in the higher elevations for tonight. Mostly cloudy Saturday, 60. Partly cloudy Sunday, 61. And 70-degree numbers returning Monday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Slow 240 eastbound between exit 2 and exit 4A. 240 on the westbound side slow between Chuns Cove Road and Monfort Avenue. Future 26 eastbound delays between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 eastbound stop and go before Brevard Road and continuing to the French Broad River. 26 westbound stop and go between Chimney Rock Road and Hendersonville Road. 40 westbound is slow between the Smoky Park Highway and George's Branch Road. Haywood County, 40 westbound crawling between Vines Creek Road and Harmon Den Road, and 40 on the eastbound side stop and go between the NC-Tennessee state line and Harmon Den Road. NC 191 near Mountain Home at Mountain Road. This area is seeing some congestion. Near Avery Creek Boulevard Road, north and southbound, approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. NC 191 northbound between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway slow. Smoky Park Highway northbound approaching Sand Hill Road delays. Near Inca Village, Sardis Road moving from Sand Hill Road to Boulevard Road, traffic stop and go. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road delays. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Breakfast Biscuit Sandwich, just $1. Wendy's knows a better breakfast starts with a better biscuit. That's why you can get a hot and buttery Wendy's breakfast biscuit with bacon or sausage, fresh cracked egg and cheese for just $1. Get your Wendy's Buck Biscuit Sandwich today. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
As a marketer, you want to reach everyone. Adults, teens, millennials. But it's not like these groups all hang out in the same place, right? Actually wrong. They're all right here, listening to radio commercials just like this one. Radio ads connect with 93% of Americans every week. That's more than Google, more than Facebook, more than TV. In fact, radio reaches 20% more millennials than TV. Want more of the people you want to talk to all in one place? Visit iHeartAdvertising.com and get AM/FM working for you. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like the world is throwing everything it has at you. And to succeed, you need someone to guide you through. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice to help you navigate whatever challenges you're up against and get you safely to where you want to be. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
Welcome back to the quickest podcast ever, brought to you by Kohl's.
Today's topic, Easter savings.
I can't wait to celebrate with all my peeps.
Speaking of, I just got 50% off festive decor. A Ninja blender for just $99.99 and saved on some arts and crafts the kids are gonna love.
Okay, those are some excellent deals.
Right? On top of that, I got an extra 20% off Kohl's Cash and free store pickup.
Excuse me while I hop onto Kohls.com.
Select styles, 20% offer ends April 3rd. Toys, coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohls.com for details.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
The underdog. The long shot. The nobody from nowhere, never gonna happen 100 to 1 shot. We know something about that. We're with you every step of the way.
This week at Ingles, select 6 to 12 count Laurel and Cuddly soft bath tissue, $3.98 each. Select sizes and varieties Kellogg's Frosted Flakes or Fruit Loop cereal, 2 for $4. And select sizes and varieties Tide laundry detergent, $12.98 each. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
Let's open up the whole can of kick ass and kill them all. Let the paramedics sort them out.
And back here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, you can find us at thesportsocracy.com. Tar Heel fan Tank Spencer, and sometimes Tar Heel fan Jeremy Greene.
Hey, when I have to pick a side, I will always take the Carolina side. But this is one time I can genuinely say I just don't care. Mm-hmm. I want this game to be everything it's billed to be, and I believe it will. In our comments, there have been several people saying, I think Duke's going to blow Carolina out. I don't. I don't think there's any path that this game's a blowout. And at the end of the show, you will see just exactly how confident in that I am.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of a chance of a blowout in this one, but you know, it is a possibility. we as Tar Heel fans, I feel like we recognize the growth that this team has gone through over the year, going from a team that you didn't even know was going to make the NCAA tournament when they lost to Pittsburgh at home, and then they go on the run at the end of the season, only falling to Virginia Tech in the ACC tournament. And then the way that they have played in this NCAA tournament, they came out and smacked Marquette in the mouth in the first game and then won a gutting game against Baylor when Brady Manick got kicked out with 11 minutes to go because of a horrible, awful call from the referees on a flagrant 2.
In the Final Four, still can't stop talking about that.
Nope. And then UCLA was a dogfight. And then St. Peter's, it was kind of a cruise show. I mean, we have to be honest, right? St. Peter's did not show up for that Elite Eight game.
Well, it's not the show. They were who they are.
Right.
I will say, we haven't talked about this on the show. I got to give the players for St. Peter's their flowers. Did you see the introductory press conference for Shaheen Holloway at St. Seton Hall?
I did not.
All of his players from St. Peter showed up
and
gave him a standing ovation at the press conference.
Wow.
So you remember when I said that thing about you should really take all of those ill words back about Shaheen Holloway? Mm-hmm. That's kind of the proof positive of it.
No.
That should tell you everything you need to know because that's how the players really feel.
Right. To this day, since they have suited up for Duke for the first time ever, there are players that just stick in your mind of guys that you absolutely cannot stand. They all tend to be in the vein of the most evilest Blue Devil of all time, which is Christian Lightner. We all know that. He was the guy.
To me, it's J.J. Redick for me.
No, I'm saying Christian Lightner started it.
Oh,
Christian Lightner had that preppy, just cocky attitude. You know, he was a good-looking kid and played with just a veracity on the floor that was unmatched by pretty much anybody in college basketball for his 4 years that he was at Duke. But then after that became the face of Duke basketball. I pulled up a helpful little, poll here that was most hated Duke Blue Devils of all time. Jeremy, I want to see how many of these guys you can name.
J.J. Redick.
J.J. Redick is, yes, he is number 2.
This list is wrong. He should be numbers 1, 2, and 4.
No, Christian Lightner is 1.
And I still maintain
the guy
he
had
be.
His own 30 for 30 called "I Hate Christian Lightner."
Oh, and it could easily could be one that I hate J.J. Redick 10 years from now.
J.J.'s not my 2.
Greg Paulus
Yep.
Greg Paulus is going to be up there somewhere.
Yep, Greg Paulus is number 4.
Grayson Allen.
He's number 3. He's my 1. He's
Steve
my 2.
Wojciechowski.
Woj is on the list as well. He's 5. You're kind of going in order here. Holy cow! Yeah, that's he's 7.
I'm missing one.
This is a top 10 list. So
if there's the most loved Blue Devil, it's Grant Hill, because seemingly every Carolina fan does not hate Grant Hill, and I have never figured that out.
Because he wasn't the guy to hate.
No,
it was Christian Lightner, and there was one other on those teams that we hated
Cherokee
as well.
Parks.
No, he came in after.
Man, that guy, there was a transformation in that guy that was just strange.
Number 10 most hated Blue Devil of all time, according to this poll here, is Bobby Hurley. Bobby Hurley was the point guard on those national championship teams, the back-to-back teams with Christian Lightner. He was hated because of Christian Lightner.
Oh, Gerald Henderson's got to be up there somewhere, too.
Not even on the list.
That's wrong. Just for one singular event. Frankie Cleary said that in the YouTube comments. I forgot about him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even a Carolina fan, and I can't stand Gerald Henderson off of that.
I couldn't pull for the Charlotte Bobcats, not just because they were bad, but because of Gerald Henderson. The fact that he was on that team made me irate for years. Could not stand it.
Jay Williams. That's another one that I haven't said that I feel like has to be on this list.
John Shire is number 8, the most hated Blue Devils. And this is the one that I would have replaced Gerald Henderson for. Chris Collins at 9.
Yeah, Chris Collins gets it as a player and as a coach because he was involved in the Gerald Henderson thing too.
Yep. You did really, really well with that. I'm impressed. Now, I want to see if you can do it on the Tar Heel side.
Oh, Tyler Hansbrough, 1, 2, 5, 7, 9, 11, 14, and 12.
Bingo. Tyler Hansbrough, no doubt. And this is from the perspective of Duke fans. I went to a Duke website. I know my computer's going to catch on fire. But this is from the perspective of Duke fans. The number one most hated Tar Heel of all time is Tyler Hansbrough. Would you like to take a guess at anybody else on this list?
I'm trying to think of guys that were universally not well liked. I mean, Jordan's got to be up there somewhere.
No.
That's insane.
No.
There's not a lot of unlikable Carolina guys.
According to this Duke fan poll, number 2, Rasheed Wallace.
Okay, yeah, I forgot that one.
Hated him. Yes, they hated him relentlessly.
There were Carolina fans that are not particularly in love with Rasheed Wallace.
Very true. Number 3, interesting submission here, Harrison Barnes. Apparently had such great games against the Blue Devils. Number 4, hailing from Asheville, North Carolina.
Rashad
Number 32, Rashad McCants. Interestingly enough, he's on the number 1 most hated list for Tar Heel fans. At number 5, Danny Greene. Remember the dunk?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's pretty self-explanatory. And then 6 through 10 goes Jerry Stackhouse, Mokhtar Jai. Threw that one way out of left field. Sean May at 8, John Henson at 9, and Brendan Haywood was number 10 on the most hated Tar Heels list as voted on by Duke fans. So, I mean, we cannot let go of this rivalry, and that's why it's been the biggest talking point of the entire week as we get ready for the Final Four game. We got to get weird, and then we will talk about the individual matchups in this game after that.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
I always say about professional athletes, I will never begrudge you your money. I do not care. I don't care that Deshaun Watson just got $230 million guaranteed. I don't care that Patrick Mahomes has a $500 million contract over 10 years. Do not care. Whatever the market says that you're worth, I will never begrudge you your money. However, there are times where I can see people who have gobs and gobs and gobs of money and go, okay, you have way too much of it. And we know there is a lot of money over there in the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. There is a sheik down there who has the world's largest collection of 4x4 cars. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he has done something that no one's ever done before.
4x4. Oh, 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, 4x4 vehicles.
I was like, 4x4. This is not a very big car.
He has 718 of them. So if he drove a different one every day, it would take him more than 2 years to drive each one of them. 718 4x4 vehicles. What?
Math. That wouldn't take more than 2 years.
Oh, excuse me, nearly 2 years. Okay, shut up.
35 plus 35 is 70, which from 100 is 30.
Look.
We need 730 of them.
I still do math better than some Tar Heel basketball players. So
or Florida fans. Yes!
There you go.
Let's go.
There you go.
All right, I'll let it go. I got 20 minutes left to make up for not coming after Florida Gator fans.
He has created the biggest monstrosity ever, though, because he has the world's largest 4x4 vehicle that has been built to stand 20 feet tall. It stands 20 feet tall. It has 2 stories inside it. It is a Hummer that is built on an amphibious vehicle base. 2 floors inside of it. It's got a toilet. It's got a shower. It takes 4 diesel engines to run this thing. It's 46 feet long and 20 feet tall. That's just the cabin. That doesn't count the wheels on it. 4 engines to run this thing. You want to guess at the top speed?
8 miles an hour.
You're close. This thing will top out at a hefty 19.5 miles per hour. It is going into the Sheik's 4x4 vehicle museum that he's building. And yeah, it's completely useless. You can't do anything with it. But I mean, I guess they do have all the gas in the world over there. So when it comes to filling it up, when you got that kind of money, you don't really care about fueling 4 diesel engines at once.
You were talking earlier about Eric Montross being one of your dream interviews, who was earlier on this show, which we greatly appreciate. One of mine would be celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay. He's the only person on this planet that I would love to have yell at me. Nobody ever yells at me.
Wonder why.
And he's, I can think of at least 3 ideas, because you never know what's going to come back at you. He's universally known for being a little, like me, a little aggressive. Well, earlier this week, he wasn't. He was doing a show on BBC Radio's it was the Two Breakfast show on BBC Radio, when Tina Clark, she's a kitchen manager for Edward Peak Middle School in, I'm going to butcher this, but I'm going to try, Biggleswade, UK.
Okay.
Apparently she was struggling. She had members of her staff that were out. She called in and said, I'm cooking here on my own. I'm working here in a school kitchen and my chef has gone sick. I've got another one out with COVID and just wondered if Gordon would help me today. Give me a hand after this interview. The school lunch lady called and asked Gordon Ramsay to help her cook for the day.
Nice.
He didn't do that because he was busy. However, he did send one of the chefs from his restaurant to help her, which is why Gordon Ramsay,
Michelin chef. Yeah.
This is why another of the reasons that Gordon Ramsay is one of my favorites. He sent Chef Rob Roy Cameron via cab from his Lucky Cat restaurant in London, and she immediately put him to work and was very thankful on social media.
That's awesome.
Anytime celebrities do cool things like that, it's going to get its flowers from me.
It's not a
good job, Gordon Ramsay.
Not a single TV show that Gordon Ramsay hasn't put out that I haven't just absolutely loved.
By the way, I feel the same way. He's also a much nicer person than his television personality, which I can sympathize with because virtually every person that listens to this show has told me the same thing.
Unless
you are not as big a jerk in person as I thought you were.
Right, but unless you're working in one of his kitchens.
Oh yeah, I would not want to do. I don't want to do that. That's not
he's the perfect example of somebody who you absolutely hate working for that person, but outside of work, they're cool. Gordon Ramsay is that person.
I could see that.
Yeah, you just cannot do it.
His what is it? Hot Ones? Is that YouTube channel where they eat spicy wings?
Yeah.
Watching him do that, one of the funniest things you'll ever see in your life.
Yes, it is. And I'm surprised you even like him because you hate that English accent so much.
It's okay. I can deal with it. Out of Gordon Ramsay, I don't care. I don't even really notice it.
So if you can be a big enough jerk, you will accept the British accent.
There are so many things that he does that he gets no credit for. Just being a great humanitarian human. Not many celebrities are that way.
Tomorrow night, right here on ESPN Asheville, 7:30, is the start time for the pregame show of the Final Four showdown between the North Carolina Tar Heels and the Duke Blue Devils. Tip-off set for 8:49. Down in New Orleans, where the Tar Heels have already celebrated 2 national championships back in 1982 and 1993. But this is the greatest game ever played, or will be, I believe.
My fear is that this can't possibly live up to the build-up. Barring there is a ball in the air to decide this game as the red light behind the backboard comes on, it can't live up to what it's being hyped to be. Just name the scenarios where if this is not buzzer beater, it doesn't live up.
Who gets shut down? Who gets shut down in this game?
You're going to have to define shut down.
I'm just saying, you look at both of these teams and you go, who's the one? Who's the one guy that you got to focus on, and can you physically stop him?
Well, this is where the matchup, I think, lends itself to Duke because Duke's so big. Mark Williams has gone from a complete afterthought to now a first-round pick in the draft, which, by the way, it's still insane to me. I've never seen a player parlay 4 games in the tournament into as much money as he has. And he deserves it. He's been fantastic. I just look at this and go, Carolina's not going to be able to do what it is. Like the St. Peter's game, you can completely throw that tape out.
Right.
That's irrelevant.
Right.
You got to go back to UCLA and really examine how that went. And I think the problem that Carolina may have in this game, there's no nerves by comparison. The last game at Cameron, you caught Duke on roller skates because you had every captain back behind the bench. Well, now you've done it. It's like stage fright. All right, if you're really scared of getting on stage, the first time you do it, you are pee your pants. I've watched enough comedians over my life do this, where they're so funny conversationally, then they get on stage and they just wilt.
Yep.
You're exponentially better the second time because you've done it. You know exactly what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see the wilt in Duke coming. And then you get into the matchups of Bacot can take care of Mark Williams.
Yes.
What are you going to do with Banchero? Banchero is literally can shoot from 22 feet.
Mm-hmm.
That's really difficult to deal with. And if you start closing out on him, then he winds up back cutting to the basket. And if this is just X's and O's, to me, the advantage is drastically with Duke. Now, let me give the Carolina fan triumvirate a little hope.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Jeremy Roach can possibly be as good as he has been in the first 4 games of this. And you're talking about 2 really thin rosters. If either of these teams get in foul trouble, they're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Xavier game in the NIT all over again. You cannot afford for anybody to play timid because when you're this thin, you become the focal point of the offense.
Right.
Now, I will say, I think you may have to draw blood to wind up with 3 fouls in the first half. Somebody may have to bleed. This is going to be a physical, aggressive game, and to me, that plays to Carolina.
I agree.
I think that plays to Carolina. It's very balanced. It's very close. I'm just afraid it's not going to live up to the great hoopla that it has been billed for.
Well, we are expecting, the greatest game ever played, and yeah, it's hard to live up to that when it's there. But both of these teams have seen the path to beating their rival. I mean, in the first game, it was Duke putting pressure down low. They got Armando Bacot in early foul trouble, and he had to miss, an extended stretch of the game in the first half. And that was because the physicality and the attacking style of Paolo Banchero. He was going after Armando Bacot, and it was successful. Second time around, he wasn't able to do that. And the Tar Heels have been playing better basketball. The first time around, it was A.J. Griffin that was the star in the win for Duke as he scored, I think it was 25 points in that first outing. Second outing, 5 points. They were able to neutralize him. I pretty much see that both these teams know the game plan. Hubert Davis and Mike Krzyzewski, they know their game plan going into this. It's just going to be where the break's going to be. Which way is the ball going to bounce? Is it going to bounce in our favor? Is it going to bounce against us? I don't disagree with you that Duke is the more talented team. Hell, we've been saying that since the preseason, that Duke is the only team worth a damn in the ACC, and they proved that for most of the season. Carolina,
which is funny because the ACC almost had 3 teams in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a bad year for the... Oops.
Yeah.
Big Ten looking right at you.
Yeah, it was not. How'd
that go for you?
Who's the next guy? Who's the next hated guy? Because there's going to be one. Like, if it's as close as we think and there's going to be a last shot, there's going to be a new Austin Rivers or, Jeff Capel or, the guy who hit the shot to end it all.
So you're asking if there's the ball in the air, Duke does this. Who is it?
Either one, either team.
I cannot help but think A.J. Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I keep coming back to, going, that's the one. If I see a hateable player here, that's probably who it is.
Okay.
The other thing I can't get away from is that if this comes down to 5 minutes, or the under 4 media timeout, and this game is tied, and I like Hubert Davis, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
I like Hubie, but they have Mike Krzyzewski. And so this is a drastic advantage. This is 40-plus years of coaching experience, many Final Fours, and I could just very easily see that being the difference.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not, though, Duke fans, you should call in sick for, I'll say, a month.
Yeah. Well, I also feel like, this is not your usual, seasoned coach going up against a new head coach. I know that on paper, Hubert Davis is a new head coach.
Well, this is his first time in the big chair. So there's just a difference there.
Oh, I know that. But I'm saying this guy learned from the greatest of all time. I mean, he played for Dean Smith. He's been on staff with Roy Williams for the last, 14 years, something like that. Roy Williams is going to be sitting right behind the bench. He's going to be right now. Hubert's going to look over at him in a moment, and in the crunch time, and go, "Hey, Roy, what should I do?"
5 out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
exactly. That's not going to
happening.
happen. But what I'm saying is, it's a little different, and you've already seen it. You've already seen him get the best of Coach K on his biggest day,
and that's just what Chris Womack said earlier. I think he said that perfectly. If Duke had gotten them in Cameron, I would like Carolina's chances drastically more than I do right now.
Mm-hmm.
Duke's had 2 chances to really send K off with the flowers. Last time at Cameron, last time in the ACC tournament. They failed on both.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see this team failing a third time. I don't. I do not believe in the Disney fairy tale. I do not believe in fairy tale endings. I think they are all made up and fictitious. This is just one of those times that it feels like this is preordained, that this is how this is going to go.
I can see Jeremy Roach being the guy who hits the shot at the end of this game.
I could see him as well.
Because if I'm Mike Krzyzewski and the clock is ticking away, and if it's more than, say it's a 2-point game, do you want Paolo Banchero taking that shot?
I wouldn't be averse to it.
Okay.
There are several Dukies I could see with the ball in their hand, but the way Jeremy Rhodes has been playing, if you get a 5th game of that, then yeah, it's probably him.
Yeah, I think he would be the guy to have the ball in his hand right at the end because Carolina knows it as well. Like, it comes down to that scenario, don't you think there's going to be multiple defenders on Paolo Banchero to make sure that he doesn't hit that shot? So it's going to be Jeremy Roach, in my opinion. For Carolina, I mean, it could be anybody. But I'm staring straight down. I'm staring straight down the barrel of the prairie bird.
Brady Manick. Mulleted man.
I mean, it's rare to find a guy like that, and congratulations to Brady. He won the Transfer of the Year award, the Riley Cooper. No, not Riley Cooper award. We don't talk about him anymore.
No.
I don't remember. Anyway, he won the Transfer of the Year award today, which is much deserved. But he's a different cat. And I can very well see him stepping up and playing that Luke May role of, here it comes. Here comes the big shot. 40% three-point shooter. I could see Brady being the next guy that they are just going to absolutely hate in Duke Blue Devil land should this go the Tar Heels way. There will forever be bragging rights on the line. That is the one thing that I have agreed with everybody on who says, I don't want to see this because this is always going to be something to hang over the other fan's head. Of course it is. But this is what we wanted. And you have to take your lumps. And if Coach K goes out with 6 national championships, I'm going to be a little disappointed that Carolina no longer has the national championship lead. Oh, by the way, if that does happen, I promise you that Helms Foundation championship, that's going to start being talked about again. They'll go, oh, we have 7 national championships to your 6. Thought we were done with that. All right, Jeremy's mad. Let's get into it.
Dirty Perky Shark back flat.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Shark back flat.
Let the hate flow through you.
There are many stupid traditions that we adhere to. Valentine's Day comes to mind. But there is no stupider tradition in this country than April Fool's Day. That is the stupidest thing that we do. I have been watching this all day long of people posting things on Twitter and Julian Edelman going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Cam Hayward being released, LeBron James is out for the year. Why does anybody ever fall for this? Why do we not just call this day we don't do anything on this day because everybody just lies to everybody and it's so unbelievably stupid? That felt so good. We weren't even going to do this segment, but I've needed a reason to get that off of my chest all day long. Stop doing April Fool's Day. You're 40. Leave that to 6-year-olds. It doesn't make any sense once you get the ability to drink.
Right.
You hit 21 years old, there's just certain things that you should not be allowed to do anymore. You no longer accept pizza and beer to help people move, and you don't do April Fool's Day. I'm incredibly mad.
Have a little bit of fun. Come on. There's
what is fun about that?
Joke.
It's not a joke.
Oh, if you
that's a you joke.
Oh yeah.
You know, now that you said that, you strike me as the kind of person that would do April Fool's things.
I have. I mean, I have in the past.
Somebody stole my car. April Fools. Stop. So stupid.
Right. In the world of fake news, where we see wrong stories all the time, I don't know how people still get bitten by this.
I don't either. I haven't believed anything anybody said to me all day.
As you should. Julian Edelman. People lost their minds over that. Oh, Julian Edelman's coming back to join Tom Brady in Tampa Bay.
Ian Rappaport got by one of these earlier.
Did he really?
Yes. Now, I will say, LeBron James and David Njoku, you learned the hard way. Don't April Fools on Twitter, because people will tell you what they really think, and you might not like it.
Oh, yeah. Give the details on that.
Let's see. David Njoku said he had asked his agent to pursue a trade, to which about 40% of Browns fans went, good. Another 40 went, I was angry when we franchised you. LeBron James said he was out for the year. Then a slew of people went, you wouldn't even make the play-in game right now, and you're telling jokes? Really?
April Fool's was played out years and years and years ago.
It's one of those things I'll never understand.
Mm-hmm.
There are traditions in this world that will never make any sense to me, and that is one of them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got to give points for Rob Johnson. Every day's April Fool's Day on CNN.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound slow between Amboy Road and US 1923, exit 4A. 26 westbound stop and go between Upward Road to approaching Hendersonville Road. An accident has the right shoulder closed. Again, 26 westbound slow between Long Shoals Road and the French Broad River. 26 eastbound stop and go between I-40 and Long Shoals Road. 40 westbound crawling between Fines Creek Road and Harmon Den Road. 40 on the eastbound side, stop and go between the NC-Tennessee state line and Harmon Den Road. Smoky Park Highway northbound approaching Sand Hill Road is slow. Brevard Road southbound between the Bent Creek area and Clayton Road, heavy delays. Sweeten Creek Road southbound is slow after the Blue Ridge Parkway to Mills Gap Road, and Hendersonville Road southbound, heavy delays between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. This Saturday, tune into HGTV's Build It Forward. In collaboration with Lowe's and 100 Hometowns, Build It Forward will select 5 local heroes for a surprise home renovation. Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern on HGTV and streaming on Discovery Plus.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with little tips for a healthier planet. A staggering 8 million tons of plastic ends up in the world's oceans every year. If current trends continue, our oceans could contain more plastic than fish by 2050. Do your part. Purchase items made from renewable or recycled content and recycle whenever possible. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Hey folks, DG here. I have raved about Dr. Rebecca Merrill and her staff at Asheville Smiles for years now, and I hope you've already taken my advice. But don't just take my word for it. Gary recently gave a 5-star review online saying, quote, "I love the personal touch!" ! They did a great job and explained everything they were doing. I am very happy we found Asheville Smiles! ! Believe me and Gary and the online review masses. And visit AshevilleSmiles.com.
Professional women's tennis is coming back to Harrah's Cherokee Center, Asheville, April 15th and 16th. Tickets are on sale now at USTA.com/BJKC. Get your tickets and see Team USA women's tennis in this exciting match, April 15th and 16th.
Where are those receipts?
Tax day is nearly here,
I held on to those.
and Chanel is stressing.
Why do I always wait to the last minute?
Her small business needs a bookkeeper to crunch some big numbers.
All these spreadsheets make my head spin. None of this adds up.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The underdog. The long shot. The nobody from nowhere, never gonna happen 100 to 1 shot. We know something about that. We're with you every step of the way.
This week at Ingles, select 6 to 12 count Laurel and Cuddly soft bath tissue, $3.98 each. Select sizes and varieties Kellogg's Frosted Flakes or Fruit Loop cereal, 2 for $4. And select sizes and varieties Tide laundry detergent, $12.98 each. Ingles, low prices, love this savings.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
I get to do this one more time before the fall.
Underdog, 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 underdog.
Speed of lightning! We're over thunder. The Villanova Wildcats are a 4-point dog against Kansas. This line has done nothing but go down all week long. I am all over Villanova. They are going to cover this number, but they're not going to win this game. I got 100 on it. Kansas in the money line. The Duke Blue Devils, the North Carolina Tar Heels, first time in the Final Four, first time in the NCAA tournament, and the Duke Blue Devils are going to win this game. I got 100 on it. Duke in the money line to take down North Carolina. They lost at Cameron. They sent Coach K off a loser. And Carolina fans, you're just going to have to be good with taking that forever because Duke will beat Carolina. They'll go to Monday night. They'll take on Kansas. And I got Duke as my money line NCAA tournament winner. I got 100 on it at plus 150. Give me the Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah! That's a way to close it out there for the for the interim here.
Until September, season, and I might need that long because I think I ruptured a blood vessel in my head. My hat feels like it's a little tighter now.
I absolutely hate those picks, but you know what? It's all going to be settled on the floor in New Orleans coming up tomorrow night. Again, you will hear it right here on ESPN Asheville. 7:30 pregame, 8:49 tip-off. The national semifinal matchup. Final Four showdown between Duke and Carolina. And yes, Kansas and Villanova will be talking about the national championship game when we all reconvene here on ESPN Asheville on Monday at 3. Enjoy the basketball, enjoy the weekend, and let's go Tar Heels!
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
It's the colder side of April. Numbers get down close to freezing tonight. Good 10 degrees colder than average for us. It is not record territory, but we're certainly good 10 degrees cooler than average into Saturday morning. Even some below freezing temps in the higher elevations for tonight. Mostly cloudy Saturday, 60. Partly cloudy Sunday, 61. And 70-degree numbers returning Monday. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors.
Ray Magliozzi here. I'd like to carry more parts, but I barely have room to think in my garage. Luckily, eBay Motors has all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. Can't imagine stocking that many parts. Where would I get all those shelves? eBay Motors. Let's ride.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound slow between Amboy Road and US 1923, exit 4A. 26 westbound stop and go between Upward Road to approaching Hendersonville Road. An accident has the right shoulder closed. Again, 26 westbound slow between Long Shoals Road and the French Broad River. 26 eastbound stop and go between I-40 and Long Shoals Road. 40 westbound crawling between Fines Creek Road and Harmon Den Road. 40 on the eastbound side, stop and go between the NC-Tennessee state line and Harmon Den Road.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.